Good morning, everybody. I'm here with Jay or Jorvan Moss. What do you prefer?
For Jay, it's more friendly.
Sweet. And what do you call your friend here?
This is Asi. He's from the Anansi series of robots I've been building. This is the V4.
Super cool. So, what's new in V4 and what's the sort of iteration process been like?
Well, I'm usually into more steampunk stuff, so V3, what I have here with me, is actually more
Wow.
steampunky, I want to
Uh,
say. And it does pretty much the exact same thing as this guy over here. But of course, it's a lot smaller. And the moving around part was much harder on this one just because it's
uh,
moving the entire head, not just the eyeball.
oh, yeah. How did
So,
you accomplish that? Was there like a continuously rotating servo on the top?
yep.
Cool. I love the multiple eyes on the old one. Do you think Aussie will ever have more eyes or just like, I mean, this one looks really amazing too.
Maybe I may have thinking about it, but this is my first time using an LED system such as Office Eye, one of those LED boards.
Uh-huh.
So I might have to like learn how to make my own LED board. That way I can have them have multiple eyes. But
Mm.
yeah, that's
Right.
cool.
So, how did you settle on a spider form?
Ironically, I got the idea kind of from you. Originally from Archimedes, and I love Archimedes' design, but I'm not really an owl person. That's
Yeah,
not
sure.
really what So I ended up, I'm really big into mythology. So I studied a whole bunch of different mythology, and I went to the African mythology and learned about the Anansi, the spider god of storytelling. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I can work with that. And I kind of just like went from there and tried to like spider it up.
Super cool. And the I see 6 legs right now. Is there a plan for eight? I mean, you have artistic freedom and everything.
Maybe later down the line, because I probably will use 8 when I have to like make him walk around by himself later.
Hmm.
Because
So,
I did try that before, but the legs kept like stabbing into my shoulder and it hurt
oh
so
yeah.
much.
There's a common theme of stabbing. Like when I first was building Archimedes, like he had these really long eyebrows and being shoulder mounted, whenever he would like look that way and I would look that way, I'd get this sort of like almost stabbed in the eye kind of moment, which was suboptimal. So those have been trimmed now. What else did you improve from the first couple of versions? What were those like?
The first couple of versions, well, the first one was just pretty much an Archimedes design, pretty much your exact design, tried to like put, a spider base on it, and it broke on the way to a Halloween party. So,
Oh
so that was the first attempt.
no!
My second attempt was I took it to me with design time, and it worked for an hour, and then stopped working, and I didn't know why until I took it apart later. I was like, oh, wire got loose. Okay.
Oh yeah, definitely had that happen. There's a lot that can happen on the way to cons and things. Especially like, do you wear Anansi on your shoulder or Asi on your shoulder as you're going to the thing, or do you put it on when you get there, or what?
I usually wait to put them on when I get there.
Uh-huh.
Recently, thanks to some very intuitive people who taught me to test my things before I have
Fancy that.
them. So the reason V3 works so well and why it's still working now was because I actually took it with me to work one day. I just wore it all day just to see and
Mm,
hope that it broke. That way, if anything was wrong with it, I could fix it before the event. And same
right.
with this guy. I went to work with him, I believe, last Monday. And on the bus, a lot of people were staring and stuff, which that was fun for a while, but
Yeah, that's great.
nothing. So it's the perfect time to test everything. Just take it out before the event. That way, you know.
Did you meet anyone who found Asi super inspiring? I find that especially children will be like, "Whoa!"
Mostly kids,
Yeah.
adults kind of give me this weird stare, like, "What's wrong with him?" But kids are like super excited, super cool. It was actually a little kid who pointed out there reminds them of Meet the Robinsons spider hat, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't even think about that."
Yeah, I had been thinking about making actually a because John Edgar Park from Adafruit apparently designed the bowler hat in Meet the Robinsons with the
Okay.
spider legs. And I've been thinking about making one, but if you were gonna do it, you have like so much more expertise in the spider realm now. We could collab though. That'd be awesome.
Oh, I'd be so down.
Oh my God, yes. Um, what kind of brains are inside here?
Arduino Uno is for using the eye, and then a small trinket is actually the servo.
Really?
For right now, at least. I just started a new job, so I had to be like scavenging for parts. But now
Mm,
that I'm working parts.
congrats.
But for right now, it's just on a time system that just moves the head back and forth, and the eye just pretty much lucky, and everybody else's brains does the rest. Everyone
Yeah,
thinks that
right.
it's like so.
Yeah.
Just go with it. Yeah, sure, staring at you, totally, 100%.
Archimedes had also does this sort of random motion, and people definitely think that he's tracking them. Even when I say that it's random, they're like, "Oh, it likes me." It's like, sure, yeah, cool.
Yeah, just go with it.
Yeah. Um, oh, that's so cool. What else have I got there? Oh yeah. So you're clearly like developing some deeper, more specific robotic skills as you go along. But how did you get into robotics in the first place?
Um, College, I went to art school in San Francisco, the Academy of Art University,
Cool.
and during my, I believe, junior year, I realized this is not what I really want to be doing forever. So I decided, I believe it was, I was already making like sewing little dolls together back then, just sewing little stuff for fun,
Mm.
and it was, I believe, Big Hero 6 and Meet the Robinsons and some other like series of movies I got together in my head. And I was like, oh, I want to make something that actually is alive. I want to draw it and make it a real thing. So I went from there, which was a lot of chaos in the beginning. The first thing I ended up doing was wiring a 12-volt battery to a 1.5 volt servo, and it exploded in my dorm room.
Oh no. That sounds
Did
dramatic.
not know about electricity. I just kind of put it together.
Yeah, well,
But
that's
yeah,
how
I've
you
been
learn, right?
going. Yeah, failure is the key to learning. I actually
Totally.
kind of like when they break it down because now I'm just like, oh, okay, now I know that's a failure. Now I know how to fix that.
Yeah. I'm curious about how your legs are posed because uh, Archimedes has this issue where the wings, like when I stuff it in a box, I don't know how you transport yours. Actually, that's a great question as well. But like his wings kept breaking off because they were too rigidly attached, and so then I had to like
Mhm.
start attaching them with elastic, and it's too floppy. But like, how do you transport Aussie, and how did you decide to make the legs sort of I see they're kind of posable.
Yeah, they're actually more posable. The first iteration I took with me, which was another inspiration of this design, was Into the Spider Verse. Penny
Oh,
Parker, Spider Bot, was super
haven't
cool, and
seen
I
it
was like,
yet. Oh, I need to see that now.
yeah, definitely see it, worth seeing. But
Yeah.
the first iteration had these big clunky legs I designed. They're like really square, wasn't spread out very well, so they all like clicked and clashed. It was strong, but wearing it was like really just uncomfortable when traveling with it. It was
Oh.
just like everywhere. So when I redesigned the legs, I've made more flexible and bendy, and that way the legs actually can fold under the robot, and I'll just wrap them up in like whatever. Right now I have
Mm.
bubble wrap, so I wrap them up in bubble wrap and stick them in my bag, and it
Uh-huh.
seems far hard to wear them out. But thanks to the legs, well, it actually it helps them kind of like sit on my shoulder better because like hold
Mm.
themselves up. And
Cool. Yeah, I remember your first version had these little sort of stubby legs, and it was really cute that way. Like, the whole thing of like if you have a big head and little legs, it always looks cute and stuff. This definitely looks like more badass.
upgrade it.
There's definitely this sort of bond that develops, right? Even though even like
Yeah,
people think that you know it's a robot and stuff, but at the same time, like you created it, Aussie. Like there's definitely this kind of, and he has
it's my
personality.
like a
You're
child.
what?
You created it. You're gonna take care of it. You're gonna keep it. You're gonna improve it and make sure it gets all the things it needs to be better.
Yeah. How did you create the frosted dome on top? Did you sand like a clear plastic?
I got really lucky on that one and clever because my original idea was to use the tint paper they have in automobiles to use to tint your windows in cars.
Oh
I was
yeah.
going to use that and cover it, but that stuff is way too flimsy for me to use. So I ended up getting since it's the holiday season, I got one of those Christmas balls that come apart.
Oh.
Yeah, I took half of that and I just took a spray can from like really far back and I just sprayed it. And it was like, oh, I hope this works. And when I was designing it, well, it ended up working. It worked really well. But when designing it, the only issue was originally the eye was too far back, so you couldn't see the eye really there too much. So on the inside of them, I actually put the eye pretty much right next to the dome wall. It's like tilted a bit, like kind of like that. And that
Mm,
way, when you look at it, it goes around that way. So
right. It's really the perfect like you can definitely see it and all, but it's still very well diffused by it. Did you use like a clear frosting spray or like a black spray paint or what?
This random black spray paint I still had. Just like
Nice.
because I bought a few of them off of Amazon, so I'm definitely gonna make another version of Aussie to test that I know what I'm doing at this point.
Mm,
But it was just a quick test and it works. And I was just like, okay, it works. But I'm gonna do some more iterations to see if I can improve on this design.
mm. So I see a lot of headphones on the wall behind you. Like, what kind of music do you listen to when you're building?
I listen to pretty much everything depending on moods.
Uh,
I admit, I think my top songs when I'm building stuff is the Iron Man theme song when he's making stuff. Dun,
yeah.
dun, 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 dun. That, and I'm a sucker for love songs, so I end up listening to some love songs when I'm like working on stuff. But
Mhm.
oh, and Disney songs. I will listen to a good Disney song here and there and start singing along with that. So
Sweet. Any
many.
favorites? Oh, cool. Yeah, I find that the Tron Legacy soundtrack is also very good for getting in the mood.
That's
Did
it.
you mostly build Aussie at a hackerspace or at your house or?
At my house, I mostly work at my house. What is my room? Very small area. I have like two 3D printers in here, and it's more for me to focus while I'm at home compared to going to the crash space.
Cool.
But I go to crash space when I'm like stuck at a moment, and for something I don't know how to do, I will go to crash space and be like, "Hey, does anyone have any info on how I might be able to do this, or any ideas?" It's very, at least in my opinion, it's very important to get some different points of views when you're working on stuff, just
Yeah.
because like I'm blinded by my own creativity sometimes. So might be some outside resources.
Yeah, that took me a long time to learn. I was always like, it's my idea. I must birth it myself, fully formed from the head. And like that's never how it works out. You always run into things. And it's weird how
Yeah,
much
I run into like many problems along the way. But like I said, I like failing. I hate it sometimes when I want to take it with me to do something and I can't. But at the
yeah.
same time, I have my sketchbook with me and I was like write down, okay, this is what's wrong with it this time. This is what's wrong. See if I can fix this problem. And back to the drawing board.
What's the biggest problem you've had besides the stabbing and how have you solved it?
Um, Definitely, I'm still trying to get the. I'm trying to design some type of like holding device because right now it works on my backpack, which is like
Hmm.
perfectly fine for now. That way, if I'm tired of him or I don't want him to be out in like an area or whatever, I just wrap him up in my bag.
Oh, that's smart.
I want to make kind of like something like you have for Archimedes, where you don't have to have the bag. It would be like a holster type of device around myself and carry them that way.
Hmm.
But that's one thing I really want to improve on thus far. And I also want to make the legs probably servo controlled and have them like move around and do it on my shoulder, kind of like really cute.
Yes, that'd be amazing.
Yeah,
What kind of,
that's
huh?
that's for like the V5.
Yeah. Do you have a name picked out for V5?
They're all pretty much different versions of the same character. That's how I used to think of it. Like
Cool.
just like people, we all grow up, we all change. It just this.
What kinds of 3D printers are you using?
I'm using the FlashForge Finder and the Monoprice, one of the very small Monoprices.
Mm.
My first 3D printer about 2 years ago, but I was studying it while I was in college. Like I knew how to in theory, and I started like picking up design programs and practicing like Fusion 360, 123 design. And by the time I finally got my printer, I kind of knew what I was doing already.
Super cool. What's your CAD program of choice? Is it still Fusion or 123?
60 right now. Fusion 360 right now. I've mastered that one now, so I know how to like import things if needed to, redesign things. I'm actually starting to learn Eagle a bit. That way, I can start like building the circuit around robots. So
Yeah, the fact that you can just integrate those two in the same thing is really cool. I haven't tried it yet though.
yeah, I have to try. Like some of my friends at work showed me it, and I was just like, okay, this needs to be like used ASAP. That would just make a way more sturdier bot.
Yeah. What kind of work do you do? It sounds like you have colleagues who know, like, who also know CAD, and like you are able to just wear a robot around and like nobody bats an eye or.
I think everyone understands in my office that I am very odd. I'm Odd Jayy. But I work as a product technician in a company called OpenPath. We're a security company, and pretty much my job is to put all the techie parts together, the ACUs, the readers, all that type of stuff, put it together and ship it out. So most of the days I'm just putting together circuit boards.
That's a pretty cool job. So I know that you go by Jay, but you kind of remind me of Q from James Bond. You're like making this stuff. Oh,
Yeah,
um,
I don't think I want as much sass as Q though. Q is super sassy. I'm more goofy.
it's good. It's a good way to be. You were mentioning that you were looking at doing some kind of an audio integration, so Aussie won't just be autonomous. What kind of systems are you looking at?
Well, one I'm looking and one of my blueprints I'm designing right now is adding an electrode to the top of the head. That way,
Oh,
when I top of his head, like he'll emote and be like happy, a happy emote when people pet him. That's
haha.
definitely another sound system I'm thinking of adding is adding microphones to the heads, the two sides and the back. That way, when he hears someone talking, he'll look at the person who's talking.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, there's if have you heard of the Matrix voice controller?
no, have not heard of that.
So there's this company Matrix that makes some round devices that are designed for voice interaction, and this one can run on its own off of an ESP32 that's on it. But they have one of the built-in demos be basically it's got a ring of microphones on it, and one of the demos is that uh, it detects which way voices are coming from and lights up just like a red LED over there. So it seems like maybe it would be a good starting point, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I love the one thing I like about the holidays, other than spending a whole bunch of money on gifts, I have time to sit around and just test ideas out. 'Cause I do a lot of testing before a final product. Like a lot of times, some tests don't even get into the build because they didn't work for some reason or another.
That's how you know it's a good test.
Yeah, true. Yeah, write it down. Okay, this didn't work because of this, and this didn't work because of this. And keep going forward. Keep moving forward.
Are there other nerds in your family, or is it maybe mainly you that's like this?
I am the only nerd. I am the strange in my family. It's so weird because I'm just like a big science nerd who likes to build stuff, and they're just kind of like, yeah, we don't do any of that. We don't know what he's talking about half the time. I'm just like, okay, fine. I just deal with it. So I do love the looks I get from them when I like come out with like a robot, and they're just like, what is that?
I love it. Yeah, I kind of know the feeling. Like I come from nerds, but they're like literature nerds, so it's like all writing and like literature and stuff, and that's awesome because I learned a lot from that. But like my sibling's the only other one who has like a passing interest in electronics, and like I was just communication. How do you?
I
It's
really wish I had more siblings and family members who were into technology. But sadly I don't. So I integrate people and friends into my family. Like, okay, now
yeah.
you're family now.
Yeah, I think that a lot of nerds end up building our own kind of like uh, nerd family around us. It's super cool.
Yeah, family.
How are you powering Anansi?
Right now he's using four 1.5 volt batteries
Ah,
in a small circuit. I really need to take better care of actually like diagramming these things, but right here in the bottom of the legs, you can see kind of like this little green light.
oh
And
yeah.
I'm most likely going to like upgrade the next one with the lithium ion battery for it to be easily rechargeable. But since this was the first time attempting this type of design, I was just like, oh, what systems do I have right now? Oh, I have this battery. Let me just put this together.
That makes a lot of sense. I like that it's integrated into the main robot design. Archie has these two external batteries that I have to wear in a fanny pack, and it's kind of really heavy. But whatever.
Originally, I tried that with the first version. I had put the circuit board and everything in a pocket in the backpack, but I think that's what made it mess up, of course, because I was moving around a lot before we headed out
Yeah.
to the Halloween party, and I was like, okay, that doesn't work. Let's try to integrate it all into the robot. So that's why
Yeah.
this new one is actually a lot bigger than his other self. Is the fact that the battery actually sits in the bottom of Aussie, depending on V3, where the battery actually sits like right in the middle. So that's also why he doesn't
Oh,
turn as much as he does. Yeah.
that's kind of cool though. I love how self-contained these folks are, and you can just kind of like strap them on.
I'm like, pick a robot today. Which robot am I going to go out today with?
Oh, that's
steampunk
so great.
thing or cyberpunk
Yeah, you could have like the
thing.
steampunk one, the cyberpunk one, the like sea-punk one with tentacles or something.
I was actually thinking about that originally before I decided on the spider version. I was gonna make a tentacle version and
Uh-huh.
have like a Cthulhu like look going on for it, but
Yes.
then I was like that would take way too much time. Like maybe later when I have more time.
Yeah, plus I love the tie-in with Anansi. That's just great.
Oh yeah. Well, you have Archimedes. Like who doesn't know about Archimedes? I'm a giant mythology nut. I know all
Yeah,
my
right.
mythologies.
I love it. Uh, Anything else that you think should be known about Anansi? Where are you? Uh, I don't know. What kind of other changes are you planning for the next version besides the legs?
Um, Other than the legs moving, I actually looked online, I believe last night, and I saw the muscle sensors that you can use your muscles to activate a servo.
Yeah.
That with a Aussie. I'm not really sure how I'm going to do it yet, but I'm thinking if I can program him to do like a handshake, like stick out one of his little claws and shake
Oh my
someone's
God.
hand. So I'm trying to think of like new ways of doing that and just upgrading them all in all. One of my friends taught me how to do patterning, and I do have like some old leather left. So if I go for a more design, I can like pattern it and make it look really pretty. Also,
That'd
I'm
be
thinking
so
of
cool.
changing. Yeah, I'm also thinking about changing the dome a bit for the next one. Instead of it being black, I might see if I can do like light blue and have the since the LED is red, it means I would be like purple coming out. I think that'd be really cool.
Oh, that'd be gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah, so the other one's really fancy. This one's more like cool, like cyberpunky neo type of world going on.
Dystopian kind
Yeah,
of.
I want to look like fantasy technology, like really pretty, really glowy stuff
Mm,
you wouldn't think actually somehow works.
I love it. Speaking of audio stuff, since you mentioned that, one thing that I'm working on for Archimedes is an audio integration with a system called Chirp. That's like it transmits data over audio, but it sounds like R2D2. Uh, and ideally, I'm going to have at least two of them that like communicate that way, like a little. I want to make like a little version, but right now I've got it so that you can like do animations in response to specific like little chirp
Mm-hmm.
things. Unfortunately, though, like your EMG thing would be very direct, which is awesome, and like this, I would have to use a machine to talk to him, right? So I don't know. I do like how
Oh,
magical here.
that's definitely a good idea. It definitely will work too. I think one thing with him is I couldn't decide what sounds to make him because spiders don't really make a noise. Last
Yeah,
time I checked, I think it's like my only real issue because I was gonna have him with a circuit playground and see if I can wire him up and make like little noises, little beeps or something.
right.
But it's a spider. I mean, like that would be cool, but at the same time, like I would have to make the glow. I think I would add more LEDs around the globe, and that way it will light up every time the sound would react to it. But
Mm.
I'm not sure. Too many ideas. I have to like sit
I
down.
know, right? I do love how we can hear the little servo move. I think that's the quintessential little sort of cute robot noise. It's just like shoop, 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 whenever
Yeah.
it does something.
Little circle sounds. I also want to add a USB hub to him. That way he can be more useful when I take him out and stuff. It won't just be for show. I can be like, oh look, let me just take that data from you right quick.
That is brilliant. That is completely brilliant.
Yeah, if
Well,
I ever end up in a cyberpunk movie, I can just be like, oh, gotta hack the system.
I see. Hack the Gibson. So cool. What kind of
Right?
other
We're
have you,
creating it
what?
next time.
So you're inspired by like Meet the Robinsons and the new
Big
Spider-Man,
Hero
which
6.
I mean, Big Hero 6, yeah. Any other big influences?
Mostly just that. When it came, well, of course, you're an influence too, like big influence. Thank you.
Oh.
But definitely that. Mostly a whole bunch of sci-fi stuff, just because. Of course, I went to art school. I was going for comic book majoring. I was a comic book major,
Oh,
but
cool.
something I realized looking into like superheroes and stuff like that, other than like Iron Man or like those other characters that I love. It's easy to be a superhero when you have superpowers. Like they make it seem like it's not that easy in the movie, but when you fighting a 10-foot dude and you got super strength and stuff like that, this is not a problem. I find like stuff a little bit more interesting and more like relatable because in my opinion, I'm not that clever or smart. I'm just very stubborn.
No way, dude. You come off
Just
as
study hard.
super
Like,
genius. That's cool though.
yeah, I'm completely self-taught. Like, if you could see my library next to me, it's nothing but like art books and science books. That's all I did. Fucking did.
Super
Just
cool.
sit. Yeah.
Nerds rock. You are so awesome. I cannot wait to see the next version of this. And yeah, so everyone, you can follow Jay at Odd. Could you spell it for us? It's Odd Jay on Instagram, right?
Yes, Odd Jayy on Instagram.
And there's like an
Right now,
underscore in there.
just say again.
Oh, we'll post it underneath. Haha, we'll put it in the description to this video. There we go. And yeah, can't wait to see what you do next. Thank you so much.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Ciao.